Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Until the Tea is Cold. So today I'm drinking an Earl Grey because I'm running out of teas in my house and in desperate need of buying another. And I am using the OG cup. If you don't know what that means, is the cup that's on the photo that you see in this video. Yeah, and it's kind of a useless cup because it kind of burns my fingers when I touch it because it's all metal and it's not good for drinking. It's nice because you can see through, but not good for drinking tea or anything hot really. I don't know why we have these, but they feel so useless now. But now I can grab it actually. Before I couldn't, I was waiting for the recording to start to actually test if I could grab it or not. I like Earl Grey tea, it's a nice combination, soft, but still, it's missing that tiny little bit of flavor, you know? On today's episode, we're gonna talk about work stories. Weird work stories, just awful moments while working, all that. I used to work at a vegetarian place. We would make rolls, salads, all that kind of stuff. Very tasty, actually. And it was so weird to me because we had a glass panel that you could see through and see how we would make the rolls and salads, and you could actually see the ingredients and all that stuff that was inside the fridge. And people would ask us if we could make sushi for them, or maybe pizza, or even coffee sometimes. I remember an old lady came by once and she was just like, "Do you have a cup of coffee?" And we're like, "Ma'am, we don't serve coffee. We just prepare food here, not even drinks. We have lemonade there and some Coke if you want it." Yeah, that's not the worst part of it. It's kind of funny afterwards and we used to laugh about it. But I think one of the worst parts, and this is mainly with old people, although some customers my age did this too, sometimes they feel so entitled to give you orders just because you are making them their food and they are paying for them. Yeah, fair enough. I am making your food, but it doesn't make you entitled to treat me poorly. I remember an old guy that just came in, ordered a weird ass salad, and we were like putting some stuff in, and I was like, okay, that's enough because like the bowl only has that much space. And he was like, "No, I'm paying you, so you are gonna have to fill it even more." And I was like, "Sir, I can't fill it even more. You're not gonna need to buy another salad in that case." He was so pushy about it and so rude that I was tempted to just send him on his way because I have very little patience for people that treat me poorly, and that guy was just awful. And he came by pretty often and was pretty used to mistreating my coworkers too. So that's just the weirdest part about it. In another twist, I have another old guy story, I guess. A man came by and asked for a big salad. We had small and big, that's it. And I was teaching my new coworker to just how to make the rolls and the ingredients. I wasn't paying full attention, so when I started making him the salad, I asked again, "What size do you want?" And he got so mad and flustered about it. He looked me in the eye and said to me, "I already told you. You should know." So I answered, "Can you watch your manners? I'm asking nicely. You could just do the same." I don't know why old people get so crazy when you correct them or you just say to them that what they're doing wrong. But that guy got so mad. He still bought the salad, but got really mad with my manager, and my manager was so weirded out because he didn't get what happened because he wasn't present at the time, which was lucky for me. Just your manners are something that need to be worked on and you need to be nice about it. I have another one, but with people my age this time, for a change at least. It was rush hour. We had like a lot of clients, just a long queue to get through, and we were like just rushing, making a few rolls and handing them out just constantly. And one guy just comes in with his friends. He knew the owner, they were friends or something like that, and he just asked me for a roll. I started making it, and in the middle of it, he stops me and says, "You should do it like this and fold it this way, so it's nice and much better." And I was thinking to myself, it's rush hour. I don't have time for you or what you think I should do. So I told him, okay, I don't care, move along. And he never came back. Because I don't go to your job and tell you how to do your stuff. Why do you come to mine and try to, I don't know, give me orders about how should I make the stuff I've been making for the last half year? So the manager from another place, this time a burger joint, was the worst person I think I've ever met. She used to treat us like garbage, honestly. She would go around bossing everybody, complaining about stuff, and always demanding more, but in a way that was just rude and downright disrespectful. And also threatened to actually throw hands with one of the other employees and just called me a useless sack of crap to my face and refused to use my name. It was almost like I was a thing in that place. And I hated her and she hated me. I made it clear that I hated her and that I didn't like the way she handled things. She didn't fire me. I actually quit that job, which I'm proud of because I stood up for myself for once. So that made a difference. But in the meantime, it was hell on earth. Besides the night shift, and we were all tired and sometimes sweaty in the summer. Awful job, awful people. If you are in a similar position and you don't need that job to live, please stand up for yourself. Quit. Go to another place where they are going to treat you better because it's not worth it to spend time and health for people that don't give you what you deserve. But why don't we take our minds from the bad things and start focusing on the good ones? Like when my manager got COVID. He was alright. He had the vaccine, he had everything, and he didn't have any health problems during that period, so he was fine. But we were just so happy because finally we could put music. We could kick out the customers that were just awful to us. It was a win-win situation for everybody there except the manager. And the owner, of course, but the owner never found out. We were so happy those days. Same with rainy days were the best because nobody would come into the business and we could just chill, sit down, because the new staff weren't allowed to sit down, straight up. Just the worst thing ever. You couldn't rest for 5 minutes. So crazy. But at least we could eat, because in the burger joint they wouldn't allow us to eat anything, even though we worked for 8 hours in the night shift and through dinner. So yeah, that was horrible, but just good things. I met some fantastic people. Actually, I made some friends, and I know some customers are really interesting because they are weird and eccentric sometimes, and that I think is just the best for our work environment. Can we talk about for a second how owners are worse than managers? At least in my experience. The owner just would come by and start modifying things, reorganizing shelves, and telling us, well, this is the way things are gonna be from now on until forever, until the end of days. And so the other day, they came by again and started reorganizing once more. Every single week, he would add a new rule, a new directive that we had to follow. And the worst part was that it got in our way of working. We couldn't work properly because things weren't in the right place, and it made us stumble a little bit and just confuse ourselves. Just like a Pokemon. It hurts itself in its confusion, just like that. Owners think they are almost always right because they own the place and they pay your salary. The worst part is that they're not, because they don't usually work side to side with you. They just go into the business, look around, scold you for some reason that they think it's fair, tell you that you have to modify some things and you have to change places with other people, and then they leave and come back next week to do exactly the same, and it's a never-ending cycle of scolding you, changing things around, imposing their opinion. And the worst part is that they don't actually stay to see if it works or not. You just have to adapt to that. But of course, most of the time we didn't, just because it wasn't useful. You can't go around changing how people work while they're working. They're gonna make mistakes and you're not gonna like them, and the customers are gonna get angry because they're gonna see that they're not working properly and maybe they make some mistake in preparing the food. I don't know. I feel like owners are way too entitled sometimes just because they have the money. Just to close this one with a sweeter note, and because the tea is running out, I think one of the best jobs I ever had was walking dogs. Just going around, petting dogs. I got to do exercise, I got to meet other dogs, and it was so much fun because I know they're dogs. They're lovely and they're so sweet, and they wiggle their tails when they see you coming to their house. They're like so happy all the time. I love them. Even though I had some few bad days there just working, it paid well because I was young, of course, but also it was fun. Dogs are fun, and they made the job worth it, you know? It was, I don't know, their happiness is contagious, I guess. And I think with that story, I'm gonna leave it off for today. I don't know if I have more work stories like this, but I probably get some more the more I work. But yeah, I have run out of tea and ran out of stories too, which is weird because I like to talk, but I have to bring this to an end today with the OG cup and everything. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can subscribe and leave a like, and leave a comment with your work stories if you want. And I'll see you on the next one. Memento Frui.